Hey there.
Hi, Dr. Mark. Welcome, welcome. I bet it is warmer in Denver than it is in Indiana. We are at 8 degrees.
Yeah, we're like 50 degrees and sunny. It's beautiful. Which in Colorado, that's like 70, 80 degrees, where you're from.
Right?
Well, Phil Hawes, Dr. Mark, just said that it's 0 in the UK and that he was going to leave his camera on and go sunbathing. Didn't you, Phil?
I did say that and I was lying. Hi, Mark. How you doing?
He's frozen for a second, I think Dr. Mark is.
Uh-oh.
He froze.
Well, while we're waiting for Dr. Mark to come unfrozen, I want to thank everyone that has submitted questions. This is what this call is about, and it's answering your questions about the technology, about what to recommend to customers and clients, just understanding the technology a little bit better. So thank you for submitting those questions, because that means I don't have to come up with all of them to ask Dr. Mark for you. So thank you.
Yes, it's great, and we always come across new questions, and we always have new people on this call too, Angela. So it's always a great idea to sometimes hear those same questions that we hear with new people that join us on here. So if you already know the answer, then that's great. It helps you in your presentation to new people, and certainly those new questions are always welcome. So I'd like to first of all welcome everybody to our Ask the Doc call with my amazing co-host and dear friend Angela Corns. Always a pleasure to see you, Angela, and great to see everybody on this call. So welcome, and great to have everybody here. Just a little reminder before we get started. Tonight at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, we have an amazing trainer doing our team training. Big Al Schreider is doing our training. He was one of our summit speakers last 2 weeks ago, I guess it was, for our summit. And so if you get the opportunity to get on, now I know my friends in the UK, the time zone chain is very difficult for you to get on there, and we understand that. However, it will be recorded, but his topic is going to be great because he's going to teach us how to learn the language to convert and close a customer into a business partner or business builder. So I think that's something we all would love to hear. It's something that we could all take nuggets away from and use to grow our teams for sure. So welcome. And Angela, I don't know whether you see Dr. Mark on here again.
I don't see him yet. He's usually pretty good about unmuting himself when he pops back on.
Yeah. You may be having, on a sunny day, the internet doesn't work very good in Colorado.
It doesn't know what to do.
It doesn't know what to do there. So let me just
probably heard that I was on and ran off.
You might have scared him away, Phil.
I think so.
Yes, well, we got a great crowd on today. We are streaming live in the testimonials page. So if you've got anybody right now that you know that's in the testimonials group and they want to jump on this call, take a quick second and send them a text and let them know that we are live on here. Do they have 20 minutes to have a look and join us on this call? It certainly doesn't hurt to throw out that fishing line once again to get people on here for sure. So we know how many, we got a fairly good lineup of questions today, Ange.
We do, and a couple questions have led me to some other questions to expound upon. So I'm excited about that, and we do have a couple questions we're going to kind of circle back around on because it seems like they keep popping up quite frequently. So we're going to circle back on a couple of things, and hopefully Dr. Mark is able to pop back on here with us.
Yes, I just got a message from him, said, sorry, internet went, be back on in 2 minutes. Internet.
Technology is so great when it works.
When it's sunny and a balmy 50 in Colorado, it's tough to have internet go through as we fight through storms and so on. So always, technology is always great when it works, right? So, but I'm very, very grateful that we do have the opportunity to have these calls with Dr. Mark, because for those of you that have heard him before, it's always exciting, and I think we're all grateful that he comes back on and wants to give us the language and answer the questions that help us present. So every time he's on, it's always great to hear his language, how he explains things so eloquently and makes it all easier for us. And for you people that may be new on this call or guests on this call, you're in for a treat. He's a very, very incredible man. He is our vice president of clinical strategies here at Vox Life. And like a lot of us, he was skeptical when he first started. He was introduced to this technology by a patient. And he, you may have heard his story before. He's like, come on, brain socks? What are you talking about? Brain socks? So because Dr. Mark did quantitative electroencephalograph, where he could actually measure and see the difference in the brain through brain mapping, he thought, well, I'll put an end to this patient's query for me to look at these. I'll just brain map myself on these insoles and socks. And so to his surprise, he was blown away, because what he saw happening to his own brain in 7 seconds was taking upwards of 10 weeks of neuroplasticity training to elicit the same response. And so, of course, Dr. Mark went on the quest to find out who invented this stuff. And since then, him and Jay Dhaliwal have brought this to the medical field, brought it to the world, and with the help of all of us, but really give us an understanding, from a medical perspective of how this technology works and how it elicits a response in the brainstem. And I know, Angela, you've had some concussion damage being in the equine business. You've, had your head whacked a few times, and certainly I have too. So, oh, there he is again. Welcome, Dr. Mark. I said, when it's 50 and sunny and a balmy 50 in Colorado, it's tough for the internet to work.
Yeah, right.
So, welcome, buddy. Good to see you on the call. We're all excited about the call here. And of course, Angela, our great co-host and friend, is here today as well. And she's got a great lineup of questions for you today. So without further ado,
Awesome.
We welcome you, Mark DeBrincat, Dr. Mark DeBrincat, our VP of Clinical Strategies. And we're grateful to have you with us again today, Dr. Mark. Take it away, Angela.
Thanks, Terry.
Well, Dr. Mark, thank you for your time. You're always so generous, and welcome to the call. And we have a fantastic crowd of people on today. So we're going to kind of jump right in. I promise it's nothing to move you off your chair today like the last call was. That wasn't overly fair for you. I get questions submitted pretty late notice. So Dr. Mark hasn't seen any of these questions. So this is just him sharing his knowledge that he knows inside and out to be true about our technologies. So that's extremely amazing. The first one we're going to start with is pretty simplistic. We know that the peripheral nervous system is extremely sensitive, and we know that we can wear socks with the insoles, but does it work the same with the socks? Can Vox socks go over compression socks?
Go over compression socks. I would probably say no when it comes to the socks being worn over another pair of socks. In the aspect of, so it started with the insole, and the insole has 3-dimensional depth to it. And so with that, our proprioceptors and mechanoreceptors can pick up the crevices in the insole. When we tried to come out with the sock, we're not doing 3-dimensional depth anymore. We're doing a change of stitch pattern. So your energy is going along with the fibers. And then all of a sudden, when you get into the rectangle with the orange patterns in it, The orange part or the fingerprint part, if you look closely on the stitching goes in a horizontal direction rather than vertical. And so your energy is picking up the change in stitching, not the color. Okay, so it has nothing to do with the colors of the socks. It has to do with the pattern. So that needs to be up against your skin close to be able to do that. And if you're putting another pair of compression socks, which are thicker in material anyway and denser, and then you're trying to put the pattern of the sock on the outside need to be directly on you. You could put a compression sock over the Vox sock if that were the case, but not the other way around. The Vox has to be on the inside. But if with the compression socks, if you have an insole in your shoe, that would be fine because you can't pick up the three-dimensional depth versus this cross-stitching pattern, up to a few millimeters away from your skin. So that's how it can work through all of that.
Perfect. I have a couple of questions, and they're all different, but they're all very similar in the fact that people want to know for different conditions which one of our technologies they should recommend to clients. So before I get into the specific questions, can you kind of give us the overview of CBT, Neurovax, HPT, and what types of things we would recommend those things for?
Okay, sure. So first of all, we want to start off by saying the HPT is the one that targets your brainstem. So that's going to be by far the most important tech that any and all of us wear all the time.
And HPT being the socks, the insoles, the Harmony patches.
Yes, Harmony patch, insoles, socks, knee brace, undergarments, anything with the human performance technology in it. And so that's targeting brainstem, which is the gateway in and out of the brain. So it's super important that we always have homeostasis there and the most optimal functioning neurology at that point of the door in and out of the brain. So we're going to talk about a lot of other products too that never have anything to do with that. And so because it is dealing with the front door, let's just call it that, anything past the front door that's most critical in your brain, that's where HPT is going to go to. So it's opening up the front door, but it has access to every part of your brain. Kind of like the janitor that has the keys to the school. He can get in the front door of the school, but he can also get in any door in the school with his master set of keys. So HPT technology, when in doubt, pick that first because that's the entire brain. That's helping the front door in every aspect of the brain. Now, we have 4 other technologies that are going to go into higher brain function. They're going to go into a very targeted part of the brain also, but the difference is this targeted part of the brain, it's just one of the rooms in the school. And so it doesn't give you access to the rest of the school. It doesn't want to. That's not its purpose. And so we have one for cognition. This is cognitive boost technology. And this is in the form of a sleeve. Now that sleeve is going to target 10 cognitive networks in your brain. And this is higher brain function. So this takes 20 minutes before it's going to have effect. So think of it like it's targeting the front and the back of my brain. This is where I think, I make decisions, where I visualize, I recall, I have memory, pattern recognition, speed, accuracy, decision making. These are all cognition things. This is what the sleeve is going to help. Now, here's what's interesting. If I already have the socks on and past the brainstem, my sock says, hey, my attention and my focus is the most critical part of my brain that needs help. Well, the socks are going to go right to the front of my brain after the brainstem with whatever it's got left over. Now I slide the sleeve on, the sleeve's going to totally take over the front and back of my brain. So now the socks, they don't need to work there anymore. they're going to do brainstem and then go somewhere else, maybe on the side, somewhere where the sleeve isn't. The socks can adapt. And when you go in the front door with the janitor's keychain, you can affect anywhere in the brain. Now, if another class comes into one of those rooms because it specializes in the subject of that room, the janitor doesn't need to hang out there anymore. He's going to go somewhere else in the building. So the second technique or technology we spoke of is cognition, okay? Like a classroom in the building that deals with cognitive function. The next one is going to deal with our immune system and the way our immune system responds to threats. And the way it does that is by creating physiological homeostasis. And that's a fancy word for saying it's going to take your blood and it's going to help it function better. And when your blood functions better, it gets everywhere in your body. And it's going to help do the function of the blood in the places that it was having a hard time getting. So this product is going to be worn typically on the back of the arm initially, then it can be put anywhere, but it's a patch. It's called Neurovax. And the Neurovax patch is dealing with anything relating to the blood. So we don't really treat conditions and symptoms as much as we're treating neurology and function. So if the symptom that you're going to think about asking me, does this treat this symptom? And everybody keeps asking these questions, even though we say we're not treating conditions and symptoms. But ask yourself the question, does this condition relate to my neurology, like nerves, or does this relate more to blood? If it's relating to blood, you're thinking Neurovax, because Neurovax is what helps heal the blood. It helps your body allow the blood to function better rather than heal the blood. If it's relating to a nerve type of thing, then we're thinking human performance technology, because that's my entire nervous system. So I would say do both, right? Because nervous system is #1 system in the body, controls, dictates, and directs the function of all 100 trillion cells. The #2 system in the body is our blood, because life is in the blood. We need to bring oxygen and nutrients to the tissues and pull the metabolic waste away from the tissues. So those are the two products that relate to most everybody's condition. Now, they'll all work independently by themselves, amazingly, but if worked together, they're going to go much further because it's going to help do other things. Now, the next product that we have is the MetaPatch. And again, this is going to target the areas that relate to your metabolism. And it's going to help those just function normally. If they're functioning too low, it's going to wake it up. If it's overstimulated metabolism, it's going to help calm it down and regulate it down. This product is designed to help you burn more calories without increasing your heart rate. So the net result is you become skinnier, thinner, more efficient. Okay, and so again, it's just targeting a certain part of the brain. So the human performance technology is the front door as we talk about the school and the janitor having the key to everything. So that's a product that we literally have 5 million people wearing because it's the most important product that we all have. The second most important product is going to be the Neurovax, because that's our immune system. That's targeting the areas of the brain that deal with that immune response and nervous system reflexes to those. Patch is going to target the sleep centers of the brain to allow you to get into the 3 different stages of sleep more efficiently and to be able to stay in those stages a little bit longer and in essence get more healing. So your delta is your deep sleep where your body does the healing. Your theta waves are your REM sleep where your brain does the healing. And then the light sleep is the rest of the night. So what we're seeing, users that wear our REM patch are getting almost double on average the deep sleep, which is amazing because that's when your body lays down 75% of all the new cells in one 24-hour period are going to happen during REM sleep or during deep sleep. That's the body healing place. Then the brain does its remodeling, emotions and memories and all of that, and that's the REM sleep. And so this patch is going to allow you to get into those stages of sleep more efficiently. Now, 52% of the entire world struggles with sleep every single night. So it's super important that we get good quality of sleep so that we can repair our bodies and, in essence, make the next version of ourselves. And so if we want to be healthier than we are now and experience a better quality of life than we have right now, it's important that we pay attention to quality of sleep, quality of life. Locks Life products are giving us all the above. Quality of life through HPT in every aspect of your nervous system, because you experience life through your nervous system. The second aspect is the quality of life through our blood. The healthier our blood goes, the longer you're going to live. That's just a fact. It's the principles. When the blood gets congested and starts functioning poorly, your health is going to follow. Our sleep is super important. That's our vitality. You don't just make up for lost sleep when you don't sleep well. You're damaging your brain while you're not sleeping well. So it's not a matter of, oh, I'll catch up on that sleep someday. No, we need to be diligent to do everything we can to put ourselves in the perfect environment every single night to allow our bodies to get the rest that it so desperately deserves and needs in order to keep us thriving and healthy. If you're somebody that's not sleeping and you're wondering why you're not healthy, well, hopefully the descriptions of the things I just said are going to help a little light bulb come on to realize that, hey, nobody else is in charge of you but you, right? You're your own supply sergeant for your body. You're the only one that's going to be disciplined to put the patches and wear the technology on a consistent basis because nobody else really cares, okay? You're the only one that can care enough about yourself to be consistent with these things. But I promise you, if you are, your quality of life is going to improve greatly every single day you're wearing it. And so we have done long-term studies on people that we've been doing for over 3 years now, and watching their brain and their blood and their neurology all come back to life. And the quality of life is so much greater. And to see permanent changes continue to happen in the brain for long-term use is just so rewarding and so exciting. So I urge you, if you're somebody here that's listening to this for the first time and this is all new to you, get past your skepticism, just start putting the patches and put the products on you and just watch how your life and your whole neurology improves drastically. And what that means for each and everybody one listening to this is a little bit different because we're all just a sum of all the traumas we've ever been in and ever been exposed to. And it's a matter of how healthy we were going into the trauma, how fast we got through it, but also how we perceive it going back and talking about it. So these things are all going to help us unravel the tangles in our nervous system and allow our own bodies to communicate better and be better at replacing cells and at maintaining homeostasis, which is that ultimate state of adaptability to our environment.
You are amazing. Just off the cuff, all of that information is phenomenal. And
Well, you told me to talk about all of it.
right? That pretty well sums it up. Whatever the questions are now, we're done.
Yeah, right. Thanks for coming,
Angela,
guys.
sometimes you get what you ask for, Angela.
So now that we've looked at what all of the technologies really focus on, I'm going to ask you, because I've got these questions sent to me. So there's a couple people that have questions for customers that have certain conditions. So we have an 18-year-old with something called conversion disorder, which if you're not familiar with that, I had to look it up. It's a neurological disorder. What product would you recommend for this person?
You know, again, I always start with HPT. Whenever you're guessing, start with HPT. Rather than targeting a specific part of the brain, open up the front door and just let everybody in and out, okay? You have all this neurology just waiting to do something and it's trapped, it's waiting in line. Think of going to a concert and it's a packed concert, and there's so many people trying to get from the parking lot into the building, but there's only like 5 doors open. And you're clearly looking at 30 doors on the side of the building and like, why aren't these all open? And why is there like 5,000 people waiting in this short line, in this narrow line to get in these few doors? And people are going to start to hear music playing, and then they get antsy and the crowd starts getting upset. Well, then, all 30 doors open and there's an usher at every single door. Well, what does that crowd do? Everybody breaks line and runs to the open doors as quick as possible. And then everybody's in the concert and enjoying themselves sooner. HPT is opening up all 30 doors in your brainstem and allowing everybody in and out faster, more efficiently, so you can get the job done. So it only makes sense that we always start with this one, because why would I want to let any of the other techs work, but work less efficiently because there's just not as much workers going in there, in and out. So yes, always start with HPT. Is this the miracle that's going to make it all happen and make these conditions and these symptoms go away? Maybe not. But is it changing a million other things in the brain? 100%. Okay, so we know it's going to do that. As far as what the cause of that condition was and what the possible outcome is, it might be something that you just need to keep the tech on for a long period of time. If it was a neurological issue like this, we would think neurofeedback training, and we would aggressively grow new tissue in those areas that are damaged. Well, just by putting the patch on, the HPT patch, you're doing neurofeedback, guess what? In that area, because that most likely is the most concerning area for the brain's neurology, where it's needing help. And it's just can only do what it can with what it has available. So when we, in essence, say, hey, I got the janitor ring for this building, what do you need? We have access to everything. By all means, that's my first choice in any condition all the time. Past that, I would think for somebody in a situation like that, I would be thinking eSmarter as number 2 choice there, because these are cognitive things, okay? And so that's gonna kind of help some of that programming. Outside of that, I mean, technically you can put all the tech on and see what happens, but it may not be necessarily an immune response thing. If it is, we want to add that Neurovax. But again, I always think HPT first.
So with, I know previously we've talked about it a little bit, cancer patients. So this question was specifically talking about brain tumors, but any cancer patients. I mean, obviously HPT helped their whole system, but then where do we go with the Neurovax or CBT with those patients?
I think that the primary be HPT and secondary is always going to be Neurovax, and just those two alone, critical 24/7. Don't ever take them off. Think about the process of cancer. I don't want to get in a huge tangent right here, but let's just say that everybody out there thinks cancer is a bad thing, right? And oh my gosh, it's horrible. It kills people. Okay, well, what if I were to tell you that cancer is a great thing, and it's actually the best thing that ever happened to you, because most likely it kept you alive. And so let me explain that. It can turn bad, okay, and it can kill you. But just the fact that our body has the ability to recognize a rogue cell, something that's foreign to me, that shouldn't be there, and it can identify it and wall it off and prevent it from running around causing havoc in the body. The same intelligence that creates those cysts and tumors and things knows how to get rid of it. It just needs the means to do it. And so it's far more intelligent than we are. And everybody's got cancer to some degree, and we're constantly. It's when our immune system's too weak and we're not responding quick enough, and the rogue cells are getting some other partner cells to join in, and then they start growing and laying down neurological pathways and then start producing more of these types of cancer. So all of that is a blood issue, right? So it's the HPT and it's our Neurovax. These are the things that first response to these foreign invaders entering our body. And we want them to be identified and dealt with before they impregnate inside a cell and then hide from our immune system and then kind of run around and cause havoc in damaging those cells until we can say, that's not me anymore. I've just lost my identity of that tissue. And that's where bad things start happening. So it's imperative that we keep our nervous system alert. We keep our body clean of toxins and nutrients that we need to build healthy tissues. And all of that is neural responses and immune interactions. So that is Neurovax, okay? Anybody you know that is dealing with cancer and is trying to fight it, no matter what they're doing, whether they're choosing to do chemotherapy or not do chemotherapy, you want the Neurovax on that person 24/7, because that's keeping their immune system, which is all their little soldiers going out there and gobbling up the things that aren't supposed to be there and putting things where they are supposed to be, and then eliminating things out of the body that aren't. You want those guys working as most efficiently as possible. And with all the studies we've seen with Neurovax, typically within the first hour of putting that on, the whole dynamic and picture of the functionality of the blood changes quickly. So again, once you've seen this firsthand, and if you were a cancer patient and I drew your blood and you saw your own blood, you're never going to take that patch off until you're completely healed. And it just doesn't make sense to. Again, the Neurovax started out as one of these things that were designed to put on to protect you if you were going to get a vaccine or chemotherapy, or be in a situation where you could be compromised immunology based on where you're going and who you're around and exposed to. It was designed to help them be that immune booster to protect you in an event of a threat. And that's what I thought it was going to be. And it wasn't until I did the clinical studies with the blood that I saw, wow, even people with no symptoms that are super healthy, their blood didn't look that great. But after the Neurovax went on, it cleaned up perfectly. So it switched my whole philosophy and my whole thought that that is not just a product. It can be used as an immune booster for those people that, you know, are feeling symptomatic and they need to overcome this quickly. But more importantly, this is an immune system regulator. This became a regulator as soon as I did that study a year ago, realizing, oh my goodness, even myself, somebody who's never been sick. I never get sick. I've been injured and I heal fast, but I've never been a sickly person, never had colds and flus and all that kind of stuff. And so I was still thinking it was going to be one of those immune boosters. But even looking at my own blood, I quickly realized, wow, that could be improved. Wow, it is improved. Okay, this made it past into my inner circle for my daily living as well too. And so like I said, it's been a year and I keep it on 24/7 just because it had become my immune system regulator, and so important in doing so. Because here, I'm a very healthy person that takes tons of supplements and has this amazing, clean, healthy lifestyle. And yet I still found impurities in my own blood. So what does that say? That's saying that we all need to have this as an immune system regulator, and find that moving forward, you're just not going to get those colds. You're going to respond quicker. You're going to have better energy. You're just going to feel better daily because your blood's functioning better. So I know that was a simpler, smaller question, and I just still went off on a tangent.
So that's okay, because now we're going to flip that question over a little bit.
Okay.
Because talk to us about people that have had heart transplants or have lupus and are on immunosuppressants or need their immune system to stay suppressed so that their body
Sure.
doesn't attack itself. Where does Neurovax come into play there, or HPT?
So that is an excellent question. And in most cases, for people that may have had an organ transplant, you know, they're not going to do anything to help boost immunity at the moment because they don't want their immune system to recognize that that's somebody else's heart or that's somebody else's organ and reject it. And so that's a big deal. And it could take months and even years of being on these immune suppressive drugs just so they don't reject the organ. Now, I get that because I'm also a specialist in microcirculation. And so we've dealt with a lot of people with organ replacements, and we cannot do therapy for microcirculation because it does increase that immune response aspect where they could identify that as foreign and reject it. This is a completely different game. Okay, we're not talking blood anymore. We're talking neurology. And the number one reason why somebody would reject the organ is because they're not able to communicate neurologically to it. Okay, that's a pretty big statement. So what that's meaning is if I'm trying to communicate and nothing's happening and the messages are gobbled, I'm going to reject the tissue because it's not working. So in Neurovax, we're going to in fact have the exact opposite effect of the immune suppressive drugs. We're not going to increase white blood cells. We're going to increase your neural connection to that tissue so that you recognize it quicker as your own and then feed it what it actually needs. If it doesn't get the information from the nervous system to know what it needs to replace the cells in that organ and get that tissue moving, we're gonna lose the tissue. Okay, so Neurovax is targeting that part of the brain that deals with neural response reflexes from the immune system and the nervous system. And so in essence, it's gonna help you reconnect your own nervous system back to that tissue faster than normal to allow you to recover quicker and to get that organ considered yours, okay, and recognized as yours. So there is absolutely zero contraindications for using this product, including organ transplant. In fact, we've actually had a couple this year and they improved so much faster because they put the Neurovax on. So it's something that Jay addressed on a practitioner call right after the Neurovax came out, because that was a big concern for other people as well too. So he went into a lot more detail about that, if you can find that recording. But in essence, it's just what I said. We're not trying to force blood into a tissue to make something work without turning the ignition on first. It's like we can put gas in the car, but until you turn the ignition on, it's not going to fire. And it doesn't matter how much gas you put in the car, it's not going to start the car, right? It's the ignition in the car that's going to do that. So the Neurovax is turning on that ignition into the nervous system to allow your own immune responses to recognize what's going on and fix it and heal it and remodel it and repair it and get it functioning so that you save the organ and save your own life.
So then the same would be true then for like lupus and other autoimmune diseases where the immune system is overactive and attacking itself. Would the Neurovax then help regulate that?
Correct. The Neurovax is going to regulate that immune response and neural reflex, not increase it, not decrease it, help turn the communication on so that innately you know how to return that to homeostasis. And again, we're talking, it's so simple that if you're not liking how you feel, just take it off. And just because you don't like how you feel doesn't mean it was doing something bad. Let me say that too. It's balancing and creating homeostasis. So it's juggling things inside, trying to find it. And it finds it every single time. So you just have to be patient a little bit. But for those that might be a little frightened by, feeling more of whatever they're feeling, it's okay. Just take it off and put it on next time. And eventually it's not going to feel frightening for you and it's just going to work. But the tech works every time. It's just a matter of allowing it to do what it needs to do.
It's amazing how the body can use the technology to help it whichever way it needs help. Just because the Neurovax does something for me doesn't mean that it's going to do that for you. If it's boosting my immune system, maybe it's regulating your overactive immune system. It's so fascinating how it works that way.
So let me just address that for 1 second. It's so fascinating how your brain works that way, right? Not the tech. The tech is targeting a tissue in your brain and freeing it to do what it naturally does all by itself. Tech doesn't know that you're going to need to increase this one and Terry needs to decrease that one, and it's so smart in the tech. we always have to give credit back to how amazing our bodies are. And the fact that we can create homeostasis, and yes, we all can, otherwise you wouldn't be alive, right? Homeostasis is what cools your body when it's too hot. It's what raises the temperature when it's too cold. It's what changes my pH when I become too acidic. It's what gets my heart rate going when it needs to go a little bit faster because I need more blood volume. It's what changes everything to regulate you to this ideal structure of normal variation to my environment, right? So when the environment changes, I should be changing to match that. That's an ability of our own body to maintain that homeostasis. And so all Jay did was figure out how to communicate to those specific tissues in the brain and give it an actionable signal. Okay, an actionable signal is a signal that means it's important, pay attention, do something with this. So all day long, I could be sitting here working at my desk and there's a radio playing in the background and there's noise and things going on around me. And my neurology says it's nothing, it's wasted noise, it's meaningless, it passes right through me. But then all of a sudden, a rabid pit bull walks into my door that I don't recognize and its teeth are out. Okay, my nervous system just got actionable signals. It said, hey, pay attention, buddy. Interpret this information real quick because your life depends on it. And so that's an actionable signal that the brainstem says is super important. It filters it and it encodes it back into the nervous system to give an output, an actual output of something. So all of our Vox Life products are not just noise that's touching your skin like your clothes. It's a very unique, actionable signal that gets the attention of your nervous system and says, hey, pay attention to this signal. This is really important. And then all of a sudden you open up the deck of cards and be like, wow, this is amazing. Oh yeah, this is important. We need to save this and put it in a good spot. Let me imprint it back into the nervous system so that you never forget it, because that's super important. Now, anytime that signal touches your body again, it's like, oh, there's that important one again. We know where that goes. And it goes right to the place that it's designed to be. Jay and I did a talk 2 weeks ago on that exact concept and how he invented these technologies and how he created this actionable signal that's not just noise. It's something that the nervous system dictates is super important right out of the gate, and we need to do something with this message. And so that's the beauty of Vox Life, is it finds the ability to, in essence, target those parts of your brain that are responsible for homeostasis in that category of your body. And it allows it to just do what it's supposed to do. It just allows you to function the way you're supposed to function anyway. We're nothing but wired for success and then programmed for failure based on all the things that we do and get exposed to in our life. This is a way of unprogramming the bad noise and programming you just for success moving forward and being the best you can be in whatever area that is.
And I absolutely love that you completely just led me into my next question. So we're going to take all of that information that you just gave us, and some people are like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to remember all of this. That was a lot. And some people are like, cool, I get it. Can you simply explain, if I have somebody comes up to me and says, what the heck is it? What is my simple verbiage to tell somebody what in the heck HPT is?
Oh my goodness. I like complicated better. So no, I'm just kidding. So HPT, we have an amazing product called Human Performance Technology. And technology has finally caught up with the fact of how to interact with our nervous system to help you facilitate a stronger and better immune system and nervous system. So this is basically a simple product, touches your skin, targets a part of your brain that allows it to open up and function better, right? And so what that means for you might be different from everybody else, but what it means for everybody is going to be balance and stability. So let me show you what I mean by that. Brainstem is responsible to make sure you don't fall on your face when you're walking forward, and make sure you don't fall sideways when you're, off balance a little bit from right to left. And so those are two functions of the brainstem, and this product is going to make that better. Let me show you how. So that's one way. We could use lots of different analogies. Like, how when you go home and you hit the button on your garage door opener and that signal goes to a motor and the motor opens up the door and allows you to come in? Well, we have this amazing product that also has a signal, but instead of going to your garage door, it goes to your brainstem, and it allows all the information in and out of your brain more efficiently. It's an amazing product, and it changes people's lives. Would you like to see how? So you don't have to be super complicated. You can keep it real simple. I like using the analogy of my cell phone. So I'm not a techie engineer, so I don't know how they made this, and quite frankly, if I broke it open and looked inside, I wouldn't figure it out either. It would just look like a bunch of circuits and wires and things. Somebody told me once that the way I can watch a movie on my phone, crazy, I can watch a movie on this. How does that, I go to the movies, now I can watch it in my pocket thing? Okay, how does that happen? Everybody says it's just a bunch of ones and zeros coming down in a certain order from a satellite that connects to this. And that makes every little part of the screen a different color, and it makes the noise happen. And then it allows you to see your movie. Cool enough definition for me. A bunch of ones and zeros coming from space. I can watch my movie. I appreciate it. Right? So this is no different. It's a pair of socks that has a patented, or not patented, it has a proven technology that can touch you a certain way, that's encrypted behind a thumbprint, which means it's identity theft and protected worldwide, which is brilliant in and of itself. But the code itself that lies within this product can touch you in a certain way to create an immediate action response in your brain that says, what's that? What do I need to do with that? Oh, that's important. Oh, this is what that means. Let me give that back to the nervous system and now watch what happens. It's brilliant. It's just a way of communicating to our bodies to make our bodies function better. Okay. And it's through touch. It's not light energy. It's not frequencies. It's just tactile. So if somebody says, really, I don't get it. Okay, well, let's do this. Put your hand out, close your eyes. I'm going to put something in your hand. Within 1 second, you could tell me, even without looking, that's a pen. Not only is that a pen, but it's an instrument. I could write with that. I could express my feelings with that. I could stab somebody with that. You immediately think of a bunch of different uses for this object that was placed in my hand with my eyes closed. That was your nervous system that downloaded all that instantly to you to tell you what that is, and you understand it completely. Now, if I were to do that again and you close your eyes and I draw the letter or the number 3 on your hand, and you could tell me, okay, that's a 3. Now, you might say it's an M or a W, but let's just say you interpreted that as a 3. And I said, great, that really was a 3. Now, how about this? And I draw it on your body over here. You're like, yeah, that was a 3 again. And then I go onto your back and I draw a 3. A 3 again, okay? And you're not only knowing it's 3, but it's a number between 2 and 4, and it has value and might be my favorite number. You got a lot of meaning to that as well, too. So those are simple ways of me taking this code now and touching you. And once your nervous system realized it was important and then decoded it, it knows immediately, just like a 3. Oh, there it is again. Yay, it's back. I love it when that technology is around because we get a lot more work done, right? So that's what your nervous system says. And so again, keep it as simple, use an analogy. This is something that will help take your pain away. Some people, that's all they need to hear. Okay, I'll try it. I don't even care how it works. It worked to take my pain away. Okay, so you don't have to chase the pain symptom. Again, it's just a matter of everybody has their own little niche, lots of different ways of saying it. We have an amazing product that simply through touch, there's no chemicals or drugs or electricity or anything, simply through touch, so it has no side effects, can elicit a response in your brain. And that response is amazing. It's helping people heal. It's helping people return back to their younger, more youthful, vibrant self. And it's helping them overcome a variety of symptoms and conditions. And we actually have a website online with over 51,000 videos of people whose lives were majorly impacted because of this simple product. So,
And with all of that, then, is there anyone who is not able to wear this technology?
we have not found anybody yet. Not that there might not be somebody out there that doesn't like feeling more. I don't know. It's like every single person we put this on has had a dramatic effect on their brains, on their bodies, and so forth. So we have yet to find contraindications. There are no contraindications for any of the products, as far as if I'm taking this medication or if I have this issue going on, I shouldn't be doing that. We don't have any of those.
So it's safe for everybody, affordable, it's easy to come by, multiple ways to wear it.
Sounds like one of those no-brainer things to me.
Completely.
Dr. Mark, let's just
Wow.
touch on for 1 minute here. Just quickly, we see a lot of posts, at times where people are questioning, why did somebody see a result for the same issue quicker than I'm seeing? We know that, the brain is absolutely a lot smarter than what you think it is, and it targets areas. So maybe we can just touch a little bit and explain how when you put the tech on, the brain sees something that you don't see or don't necessarily know is wrong, even though you may have the same symptom that you bought it for as somebody else.
Right. And that's a real good point, Terry. You could have 10 people standing on the roof of a building and jump off, and all 10 are going to have different injuries. Okay, so just because one person has the same symptom, they didn't get there the same way, typically. Okay, and we have a very complicated system. You got literally 100,000 trillion cells or 100 trillion cells in your body, and our nervous system is processing so much information. Over 400 million bits of data per second are making it into your brain. Now, why is that important? Well, as I mentioned, once you open up the front door to the school, we have access to the whole thing. Everybody's brain is going to have different dysregulations in it. Despite it, we both have wrist pain. Okay, we have a million other things going on below the surface that's fighting infections, that's dealing with pH, that's digesting food, that's dealing with the bacteria and the fungals in our body. We have so many different things going on. Nobody knows what's the most important thing for me. Okay, and so the tech, when it frees it up, think of it this way: when water breaks through somewhere, it's always going to go to the path of least resistance. And it's always going to go in that direction. So that's where the tech goes. When we open up that front door, it's going to go to the part of your brain that's the most critical, desperate need of healing. That might not have anything to do with your primary symptoms and something that you're seeing or feeling. So your brain doesn't say, okay, well, I know that you're thinking you want me to go to get your wrist pain with this patch, but you got some colon stuff going on and some heart stuff that, really is more important than your wrist pain. I need to go focus on helping that remodel and heal, if you don't mind. It's not like we can override that. Like, no, don't heal my heart. I want my thumb to feel better. Okay, and so our innate knows what it wants to do first because it's prioritized. And it doesn't judge us for what we ate yesterday and how we've abused our body. And it's going to be like, oh, I'm not going to heal you today. I'm going to teach you a lesson for how you hurt me yesterday. No, it doesn't think that way. It's no judgment. It's just doing the best it can with whatever resources it has available, period. So it's all about us giving our body the best resources and allowing it to figure out what needs to be healed first. So don't be impatient, and you might not get the result that you think you're going to get, but it doesn't mean that there's not another million things happening that's helping you. Okay. It might not target the area you're wanting it to target because you want it to go there. You can try putting the patch closer to there and see if it elicits a response quicker, but and that might happen if it's a pain thing. But really, it's about the principle of function and immunology and neurology. So our nervous systems and our immune responses, they have a job to do, and they don't need any help from us. They just need the raw resources and the clear pathways neurologically to go do what they need to do.
Yeah, that's great. And hence that's really from my perspective, and I think for the new viewers on here for sure, Dr. Mark, that kind of explains why, we have a 30-day money back guarantee and not a 3-day money back guarantee, because
Right.
it's, as you said, the human body is so phenomenal. It's incredibly and wonderfully made. And we do have an innate ability to take care of problems, provided we get our, neurological balance and our physiological balance back into the right position in order to do that. And so therefore, we see those results sometimes where somebody, did wear it in a very compliant manner, where they wore it 24/7, and where somebody might have had the same sort of issues, responded within a day or two. Somebody finally, like in the 3rd week, was like, voila, it's like that, that breakthrough, that dam flows, and they feel the holy grail. It's wonderful to see when people understand that it doesn't work in the drawer. It doesn't work in the wash. You've got to wear it like a hearing aid to optimize. As a hearing aid optimizes your hearing, so does this optimize our neurology or our physiological systems based on whatever tech we're wearing. So wonderfully, wonderfully spoken. And as always, Angela, great job. And Dr. Mark, we're always thrilled to have you on the call here. I'm very, very grateful for your interpretation of these questions and how to respond to them a lot of times, because although it sometimes maybe feels a little repetitious, we got a lot of new people on the call, and with 80 or 90 people live on Facebook watching as well in the testimonials group. And I will say to everybody on here that if you like the testimonials group video, when you see it on there, you can actually start a watch party yourself with this in the testimonials group as well. So 2 weeks from today, we will have Dr. Mark and of course Angela, our co-host, God willing, will be back here with us in 2 weeks. So on behalf of the field, Dr. Mark, I'd like to thank you. Angela, as always, thank you for being a gracious co-host, and thank you all for showing up today, and thank you all for your questions. And if we didn't get to your questions, if we happen to miss them in the chat, please email myself or Angela. Angela is Angela at brain4balance.com, or myself at tsainamon1@gmail.com, and we will get these questions posed again on the next Ask the Doc call. So we look forward to seeing everybody again on the call. We look forward to seeing all you and your teammates if you can get on tonight on our team training with Big Al Schreider. Going to be some exciting language going on tonight, so I hope to see everybody there. Once again, thanks everybody for coming, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Bye, Dr. Mark.
Everybody.
Bye, Ange.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Terry. Thanks, Mark.
You're welcome. See you, Phil. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
All the best, mate.
Bye, guys. Bye, guys. Thank you.